Hi there, you're watching NeuroMoves On the Couch. I'm Jess, exercise physiologist from NeuroMoves Canberra.
And I'm Noah, physiotherapist from NeuroMoves Adelaide.
We're going to be talking about mobility and independence for people with cerebral palsy. So I think it's important that we define what is cerebral palsy. I know a lot of people have heard about this condition but maybe don't know a lot about it. So cerebral palsy, sometimes referred to as CP, is that umbrella term that's given to a group of movement disorders that unfortunately is sort of acquired at birth or sometimes in late pregnancy. And for these individuals, it's lifelong, but not always progressive in nature. So although there's movement challenges associated with this condition, it's not something that worsens over time in typical scenarios. I think there's also important to recognise that CP presents itself in a number of different ways. There's a kind of classification scale that groups people from having the ability to walk or ambulate, maybe needing a walking aid or a stick, to maybe needing to use a wheelchair to mobilise around the community or around their environment. So it presents in a number of different ways, and I think it's important to recognise and maybe chat about some of the challenges and strategies that we have for each of those individuals and their certain circumstances.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think you really highlighted it well, that it really is an umbrella term. No two people with CP kind of are going to have the same kind of presentation. There can be some clients who have a bit more of a cognitive aspect, and they may have more of that side of things versus purely like physical issues with their walking or just getting around. So how we go about trying to work with people who have CP is going to be vastly different for everybody. And often a couple of the common things that we're looking at is some real tightness of the muscles, causing what we call contractures. That's basically where a joint like your arm or your knee is kind of permanently in a bit of a shortened sort of state. So it generally is permanently slightly bent, and that can have a significant impact on things like as simple as walking. That can have just a massive impact on people, but as well as using your arms, trying to grab things, trying to just use it for everyday tasks as well. And those are some of the common things that we're looking at with CP.
Yeah.
Do you have any sort of go-to ways of kind of managing these kind of things?
Yeah, look, I think it's really important to acknowledge, your role as a physio and mine as an exercise physiologist, how we can impact someone's ability and capacity to move and make sure that we can promote healthy movement and healthy physical activity. But I think really getting the family involved, and particularly because it is a condition that's present from birth, really important that we get that early intervention. So it might be getting schools involved, really promoting physical activity. And I think in those early stages, it's about just getting moving and seeing what your capacity is and making sure that we stay active and healthy, and looking at ways that we can enhance or support someone's movement capacity that they do have, whether, like you said, reaching for something, or it might be stepping, walking, but it might be something else, engaging in the community, engaging in sport, knowing that, and I guess normalising their condition and their capacity to actually achieve things in life.
Absolutely. And like I said, given that it is often something present from a very early age, and not necessarily something that is worsening over time or is a progressive condition, there's a lot we can do with that in terms of still trying to maximise function from like I said, a very early point. And a lot of the things that we're trying to do is almost stop some of those secondary things that come from maybe not being able to engage a muscle as well or something like that. So yeah, any exercises or anything we do, often given that this is something from birth, things like play are very important, particularly with younger clients who we see with CP. So that we can have a lot of fun with that in terms of making exercises and stuff far less like exercise and far more just like an hour of sort of fun activities. But the beauty of that is they're still going to get lots of obviously health benefits as a general from just movement and whatnot as well. But as well as trying to target those sort of more specific things that we might be looking at. But yeah, absolutely. I think getting that more just holistic sort of both sort of school environment, home environment, and just general sort of community environment going, and getting that all on board and on the same page is super important. But it's going to make the person with CP, their sort of goals and everything far more achievable, and hopefully just generally improve their both function and just quality of life in general.
Yeah, I agree. And I think with anything, it's really important to set those goals, and your goals will change over time, especially, as we mentioned that CP starts really young, and you might have sort of play-based goals or school-based sporting goals even, and when you maybe later on in life and you're still managing this condition, your goals might change and be more sort of functional activity, and might be getting out in the garden or going for a walk or going to coffee with your friends. And I think it's that journey that's really important, but I guess the underpinning of this is all around staying active and moving, and knowing that you have that capacity to move and engage in activity.
Absolutely. And like you said, because some of those goals can be very general, that's where we can definitely work alongside other professions like OTs and orthotists, and they're obviously doctors, to make sure we're all obviously on the same page, and working alongside each other in terms of how we can all best, like I said, work together to achieve the person's sort of goals and ideally what they're looking for, particularly throughout their stages of life. As, like you said, this is something that people obviously it is a lifelong condition. So working with that, and understanding that, of course, their goals are going to change, and over time they will, look often vastly different. But yeah, I think it's a great condition to work with, and someone that we can really give a lot of people assistance with. Well, thanks for watching, guys. This was NeuroMoves on the Couch. You can check us out on Instagram and Facebook for more.